Often in sports, outstanding achievements are most closely associated with the simplest of symbols, numbers. But behind every number is a man, each with his own journey and in his own time. Behind the magical college basketball number of 903 is a man who has patrolled the Duke sidelines for more than 30 years, Mike Krzyzewski, better known as Coach K. Coach K's ascent to the top of college basketball's all-time victories list started not when he began his head coaching career as a 28-year-old at the United States Military Academy in 1975, but in 1947, when he was born to William and Emily Krzyzewski in Chicago, Illinois. The strong family upbringing Krzyzewski received and the brotherhoods he forged with lifelong friends shaped his life and impending success forever.
He was an extremely good buddy, and when we played ball, he always wanted to share. He'd want to get things organized. If we're playing against another team, he wanted to share and everybody feel part of it. And that's something else that's so good about him. He wants you to be part of the team and try to make you feel good about it.
Take those Columbia boys, they were always waiting for him, in front of the house. He was the leader, and these fellas all followed him, and they were a bunch of nice kids,
There was something special about him. It didn't take a rocket scientist to, see that.
Always admired about Mike was he was a go-getter.
I've always figured he was somebody who was going to do well, whatever he did. I never dreamed, and I don't know if he did, that he'd get to this level. In retrospect, now even when I look back, I see now where he was a little bit more of a forward thinker than most of us. I mean, he understood things about the world and what he wanted to do, and he's a born leader. And when we used to congregate in the schoolyard and so forth, he was always a guy who would step up and get things organized and get us going.
It was a fateful night when a young coach from Army named Bob Knight sat in his parents' home, there to persuade Krzyzewski to attend the United States Military Academy. The future Duke coach was initially reluctant, while their youngest son was resisting. Krzyzewski's parents understood the special opportunity and pressed the issue. Eventually, their appeals prevailed, and Krzyzewski packed his bags for his first extended time away from home and embarked on a study of not only basketball, but leadership at one of the world's finest institutions.
I didn't expect him to say West Point, but when he did say West Point, I felt one day I will be in the Pentagon talking to him as he would be a general. That's the kind of a person that he was, and I say he still is.
When he was in college, we just noticed a change from him, from this tough, rough Chicagoan to a pretty classy West Point gentleman. I mean, that's all you could say, was an officer and a gentleman.
Under the genius of Knight at West Point, Krzyzewski eventually captained the team and learned to love the process of preparation as much as winning itself. Though Krzyzewski had been immensely successful throughout his life, there were challenges of higher standards and a greater commitment to service. Excellence in all areas of his life, not just winning, became the ultimate definition of success.
Once he gets something set in his mind, he goes after it, and he pursues it till the very end. Win or lose, but he pursues it with the best that he can do.
While at Army, another pillar, perhaps the most important one in Krzyzewski's life, emerged. His wife of more than 40 years, Mickey.
When I first met Mike, it was in Chicago, and I was working at the time for United Airlines. The thing that really got to me, though, is I'd never met anyone who was that blatantly honest. And I still can't get over how honest he was to his own detriment.
Following his successful run as a player and a one-year coaching apprenticeship under Knight, the Krzyzewski family returned to West Point when Coach K was named head coach in 1975, largely due to Knight's recommendation.
I thought without any question Mike was the best suited person that they could come up with to coach at West Point at that time. And I think not only that, but I think he had a keen understanding of what it took to win and what it took to play. And he was able to work with himself in terms of his strengths and his weaknesses. So certainly he should be able to do it with other kids.
When he says he's going to become a basketball coach, I says, this is a dog-eats-dog kind of a life.
I tease him a lot about the early days. I tell him he pulled one over on me because I married a soldier. I didn't marry a basketball coach, and this soldier became a basketball coach, and I think took a lot of what he learned at Army at West Point, took that with him into coaching.
By most standards, the on-court success at Army was modest. However, those who understood the game at the highest level recognized the magnificent job Krzyzewski had done in 5 seasons at West Point. One whose head was turned was Duke Director of Athletics Tom Butters. On March 18, 1980, Krzyzewski was introduced to his new family of Blue Devils.
Coach Mike Krzyzewski.
Thanks a lot for all the support. First of all, it's K-R-Z-Y-Z-E-W-S-K-I.
Now Krzyzewski found himself in the middle of college basketball's premier real estate, the ACC.
When the opportunity came to go from Army to Duke, again, we were kind of naive about the change, the difference that it was going to be between coaching at Duke and coaching at Army. But again, I don't think that there was ever a question in his mind or mine that he would succeed.
The early years of the Coach K regime were a work in progress, but Krzyzewski embraced the building process.
Well, you have to coach things that you're familiar with and feel comfortable with. I feel very comfortable teaching the motion offense, the passing game. We've run that for 5 years at West Point. I believe in it. You know, yourself, it's always easier to talk about things or defend things or teach things that you believe in. I feel that I'm a good teacher of the man-to-man defense, and that's been successful for me. So those two would be our foundation, our building blocks, and then what we do depends on how well we're doing those things.
When we came to Duke, things weren't great. We did not start off with a bang.
There were letters written and things being said and concerned Iron Dukes being formed and things like that. It was really a rough time. 43 points to Ralph Sampson in Virginia. It was more than a blowout. It was just a total beating down of the Duke team.
He had gone with some of his staff and some friends to have something to eat, and somebody raised their glass of Coke and said, "Here's to forgetting about tonight." And Mike raised his and says, "No, here's to never forgetting about tonight."
3 years into his Duke tenure, many on Tobacco Road wondered if the highly respected Butters had made a mistake.
I think people were just shocked at the decision and were probably looking for that decision to go wrong.
In the face of skepticism, Butters extended Krzyzewski's contract.
It was rather emotional for Mike because here, he'd been hearing all this stuff and getting these letters, and then all of a sudden his boss says, "I've got confidence in you because I know how good you can be." And he renews his contract.
Mike never felt like he bit off more than he could chew. He never felt like this was a disaster or heading in a bad place. Never came up in his mind. He knew what he wanted to build, and he knew he could do it. He had the confidence in himself that he could do it.
The breakthrough recruiting class of 1982, led by high school All-American Johnny Dawkins, set the foundation that still serves as a benchmark in the storied history of Duke basketball. Character, coupled with talent, would shape all future recruiting classes at Duke. Krzyzewski wasn't merely bringing Duke back to the prominence it had once enjoyed under the likes of Eddie Cameron, Vic Bubas, and Bill Foster. He was on the verge of turning a proud regional program into an elite national brand that would stand sports' biggest test, the test of time.
You know, how Coach K has taken the program from, yeah, we're good, and at times we can be really good, to being, no, we're great all the time. It's really phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
Led by the core group who arrived just a year earlier, a victory over top-ranked North Carolina and Michael Jordan in 1984 served notice that another triangle area program could compete against the very best this country had to offer.
The Duke Blue Devils, what a basketball game they played.
These teams this year played 3 tremendous games, battled each other down to the wire in all 3 of them, and this time the Blue Devils of Duke have pulled out a victory over North Carolina.
If that 1984 North Carolina victory was a glimpse of what was possible at Duke under Coach K, the entire 1986 season cemented its place in the hierarchy of the ACC and the nation. After completing the regular season with a 29-2 record, Duke stormed through the postseason, taking down 6th-ranked Georgia Tech to win Krzyzewski's first ACC tournament championship, and defeating 17th-ranked Navy with David Robinson in the NCAA East Regional Final. On March 29th, Duke topped Kansas to advance to the first of 8 NCAA championship game appearances under Coach K. Although the Blue Devils fell short in the title game against Louisville, a plan was in place, and it was working. Following the incredible success of the 1986 season, Duke began to attract the type of players whom any coach would covet. A flurry of recruiting success led to more on-court victories, and the questions from Krzyzewski's early years in the Gothic wonderland were a thing of the past. From 1988 to 1992, Duke advanced to 5 consecutive Final Fours, the second longest national semifinal streak in the history of the game, and one of the most dominant 5-year stretches by a team in any sport. It was during this time that Duke, once chasing basketball blue bloods UCLA, Kentucky, Indiana, and North Carolina, became the standard by which all other programs were measured.
Duke being viewed as a national program, and really, we created a lot of fans with that team throughout the country.
The road to a national championship is difficult. Hard work, tireless preparation, avoiding injuries, and sometimes luck determine a team's fate. Though Duke was denied titles in 1988 and 1989 Final Four trips, last-second heroics by Christian Laettner led the Blue Devils to a 79-78 victory over Connecticut in the 1990 East Regional Championship. It was a precursor of what was to follow in the new decade. Undeterred by a 30-point loss to juggernaut UNLV in the 1990 NCAA title game, Krzyzewski and his 1991 Blue Devils grasped even more firmly to his concept of the fist.
It's Duke against the visitors, and when they score against us.
That 5 acting as 1 is more formidable than acting alone. In 1991, his talented team would need it as an old nemesis, undefeated UNLV, awaited them in the national semis in Indianapolis. Publicly, Coach K praised the running Rebels and offered no evidence that Duke could defeat UNLV after what had happened a year earlier. Privately, he and his team had other plans.
The thing that Coach K did right away was, bring us into a room and tell all of us that, look, I'm going to publicly say that, this team is unbeatable. I don't know how we're going to stay in the game with these guys, but I'm telling you guys, everyone in this locker room, that we're going to beat them. And, he did it in such a way that it was very believable, even if he was just, I'm not sure if he truly believed it in his heart, but, we felt like it could be accomplished.
Duke exhibited a quiet confidence only found on teams that know they're fully prepared. Once the game was underway, UNLV found out that this was a different Duke team, one that would not be denied. Directed by its playmaking point guard Hurley, the venerable Laettner, and a talented newcomer named Grant Hill, the Blue Devils found themselves down by 5 with 2:32 to go, despite their valiant effort.
Largest lead of the game for Vegas.
Threes, and Hurley hits one right there.
What a big three by Bobby Hurley. A 2-point game and one to remember. Grant Hill driving, baseline, he finds Davis off the glass, score it, and he's fouled. Now the game is tied. The free throw could put him in front. Dukes, he's outside now, stopping his dribble. Laettner on him. Hunt will have to do something. Force a three off the back of the wall. Hurley's got it. Duke has done it. Duke has upset UNLV.
With the toppling of Vegas, the signature win had arrived. Duke found itself knocking on destiny's door. Against Kansas in the title game 2 nights later, the Blue Devils broke it down, winning the school's and Coach K's first NCAA championship.
Jordan will put up the jumper. It doesn't matter. Duke has won its first national championship.
Following the 1991 national championship, Duke returned its key contributors for an expectation-laden season in 1992. The Blue Devils, who won both ACC regular season and tournament championships, went wire to wire as the nation's #1 team. As exciting as the season had been, no one could possibly imagine what happened on March 28, 1992.
Laettner and Martinez will jump it up.
The Blue Devils found themselves in the East Regional Final against Rick Pitino's Kentucky Wildcats. The back-and-forth battle in Philadelphia Spectrum was simply one of the greatest games in college basketball history. Kentucky's last gasp was rewarded when a Sean Woods banker put the Wildcats ahead 103-102 with 2.1 seconds remaining. Duke's unwavering pursuit of consecutive NCAA title was, for the moment, over. Yet Krzyzewski calmly called a timeout, and his team focused on the task at hand.
One of the things I've seen Duke do in the past in situations like this is try for the quick pass to half court and call a quick timeout so they can get in better shooting range.
There's the pass to Laettner. Puts it up. Yes!
As he so often did, Laettner delivered at the most opportune time. His constant chase of perfection mirrored that of the program built by Krzyzewski. That uncompromising drive catapulted Duke back into the NCAA title game, where it dismantled the Fab Five of Michigan with a second-half performance for the ages. Krzyzewski's 370th victory marked back-to-back titles for Duke, which became the first team since UCLA to earn consecutive NCAA championships.
Game is over. The Duke of Destiny has won it. For the first time in 2 decades, college basketball has a repeat champion.
No question about it, Pat. This is now a modern-day basketball dynasty. People don't realize just how difficult it is to do what this Duke team has done the past 2 years.
Following a brief departure from the sidelines in 1995 to deal with physical ailments caused in part by the demands of running college basketball's preeminent program, Coach K, though in his third decade of coaching, changed his philosophy.
You can't rely on old knowledge. Just because you've been here before, we did this before. No, we haven't done some of those things before.
One of Coach K's greatest strengths is his ability to adapt to his surroundings, adapt to his environment. There's no question throughout the years he has evolved. He's delegated even more responsibilities to the people around him.
With a strong support team in place, including his family, he would focus solely on making the program better than ever.
We're talking about talk that puts us in the proper state of mind, a winning state of mind, which develops eventually into a championship state of mind. That's what we're building towards.
I think this is probably the hardest and most rigorous preseason practices we've had since I've been at Duke. Obviously, Coach K back with his renewed passion and love for teaching, and I think we're more together this year, especially than we've been in past years, especially last year. And I think that's enabled us to grow better as a team, as a unit.
A recruiting coup highlighted by Elton Brand and Shane Battier in 1997 set a firm foundation, and the rebuilding began. A defining moment came in February of 1998 when the Blue Devils trailed rival North Carolina by 17 points in the second half in Cameron Indoor Stadium. A furious comeback ensued.
For the open management, Vadio fires the three. Got it, good look. Avery penetrates, here's the freshman, oh good. Puts it back down low, Brand up with it, Hook, score it. And now the freshman tries to ignite a fire. Noon tomorrow, drop it into Brand now to paint the freshman again coming. Here comes the Duke offense. The turnaround. Oh! Elton Brand with 14 points is carrying the Blue Devils. They're within 7 now, and fatigue appears to be setting in on the Tar Heels. But the offensive rebound and a is good from Elton Brand. Can't handle the big guy inside. There's a TO, baby. A TO and a TO. Tar Heels. Openings on a perimeter. Avery coming again. And this time, nobody rotated over to take away his driving angle. It's down to the Deuce and the Cameron plays. He's our explosive. Here's a flash to Carrawell. He's into the paint. And he that's his first field goal of the game. And it ties the score at 75 inside of 2 minutes. And the exhausted Warriors from Chapel Hill try to find a solution.
While not prominent statistically, the player most personifying Coach K, senior Steve Wojciechowski, willed Duke to victory.
And look at Wojo getting very emotional, trying to charge up his glove. And now McLeod off the dribble goes to the glass on the left side. The lead. Duke leads it. First time, 77-75. Inside of a minute. Look at Wojciechowski pounding the deck. That means get down and play defense, baby. Jamison Brent. Here comes Codon. He'll miss it. Off to the side. Carter couldn't do it. Loose. Scrambling on the ball. Plus over. Duke wins it. 77-75. A great comeback for the Blue Devils. The first team in the history of the ACC to win 50 regular season games. Look at Wojciechowski's senior day. Emotion galore. Look at him right there. He'll be a future coach here at Duke. No doubt about it.
It was more than just another win over North Carolina. It was Krzyzewski's 500th victory as a college coach.
And it was really one of my favorite memories ever as a person. To share with Coach an amazing accomplishment of 500 wins. Really, I couldn't have envisioned a last game in Cameron that would have been any better.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 8th wonder.
In 1999, Duke had perhaps its most imposing and talented team in history. Brand, the National Player of the Year, dominated the low post, while Trajan Langdon, Chris Carrawell, William Avery, Corey Maggette, and Battier were free to provide firepower from elsewhere. The first team to go 16-0 in ACC regular season play. The 1999 team established the school record with 32 consecutive victories before being stunned by a talented UConn team in Krzyzewski's sixth NCAA title game appearance. As the new decade began, Duke found itself in a familiar spot, number one in the nation. Every year from 1998 to 2004, Duke rose to the top of the college basketball rankings at some point during the regular season, marking the second longest such streak in NCAA history. On November 17, 2000, the night of Coach K's 500th triumph as the Duke coach, another honor was bestowed on the Chicago native and West Point graduate. The hallowed floor of Cameron Indoor Stadium was named in his honor. By then, another heralded class had arrived, diverse in skill sets and immensely talented. Duke raced through the 2001 ACC tournament and the first four games of the NCAA tournament. Minneapolis, the site of Duke's second NCAA title run in '92, hosted the 2001 Final Four, and the Blue Devils reconnected with an ACC rival in the semifinals. The game against Maryland was frenetic, and Duke quickly found itself in a 22-point hole. The two teams had played 3 hellacious games during the season, and on this final day of March, it would be no different.
And he steals it again, back-to-back to close it out. Duke with a 33-point turnaround after being down 22.
And Mike Krzyzewski goes, wow!
Duke's comeback was the largest in NCAA semifinal history and propelled the Blue Devils into the championship game against the preseason favorite Arizona in a game that featured 10 future NBA players. The Blue Devils and Wildcats traded blows throughout the intense contest. Ultimately, roommates Battier and Mike Dunleavy led Duke and Coach K to their third NCAA championship.
Tonight, they knock out Arizona. That's it. Duke has the championship. And Coach K is the proud father of 3 in more ways than one.
Later that spring, Krzyzewski was shown the sport's ultimate sign of respect when he was inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. The decade proved to be Duke's most successful in terms of victories, as the program won an astonishing 83% of its games, including a 51-11 record in postseason tournament play. In 5 of the 10 years, Duke boasted a National Player of the Year winner. On top of that, 2 more Blue Devils earned 3 National Defensive Player of the Year awards. The ACC tournament became Duke's playground from 2001 to 2010, as the Blue Devils reeled off 7 league tournament championships in that span, including 3 in a row once and back-to-back titles twice. The decade started with an NCAA championship in 2001 and ended with another in 2010, after Duke rewrote hometown Butler's storybook ending in Indianapolis with a grinding 61-59 victory over the Bulldogs. Often compared to Duke's 1986 squad, the 2010 national champions found their way to the title led by a trio of seniors, John Shire, Lance Thomas, and Brian Zubek, and a pair of talented juniors, Kyle Singler and Nolan Smith. The team's grittiness and calm under pressure spoke volumes about their respective journeys, both individually and collectively. They too reflected the qualities of their head coach, who earned national championship number 4. During Duke's unmatched success since the turn of the century, Krzyzewski's commitment to service was never more evident. At heart a teacher and soldier, Coach K took on his ultimate professional challenge, head coach of the USA national team. Surrounded by the game's greatest stars such as Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, and Dwight Howard, Krzyzewski guided Team USA to its first Olympic gold medal in 8 years at the 2008 Games in China. With a young team led by Kevin Durant, Team USA and Coach K dispatched of Turkey in the final of the 2010 FIBA World Championship in Istanbul. In doing so, Krzyzewski became the first coach in history to win NCAA, Olympic, and FIBA World Championship titles, all within 2 years of one another. Coach K's passion for service in other areas, particularly building the Emily Krzyzewski Center in Durham to support the educational needs of local underprivileged youth, continues to characterize excellence in all areas of his life. Whether it's his ongoing dedication to the fight against cancer as an integral part of the V Foundation, or his work with the Duke Children's Hospital and Health Center, Krzyzewski fully recognizes that success in basketball affords him a higher, more meaningful purpose. In December 2010, as Coach K passed longtime rival Dean Smith of North Carolina, the college basketball world paused to celebrate. Not the singular achievement of one coach passing another on a list for victory number 880. It celebrated the game and the way programs are to be built, to be led, and to be remembered forever. Ironically, as fiercely as they compete each and every year, it was the intertwined accomplishments of 2 coaches, one from Duke and one from North Carolina, that created the biggest college basketball story of the young season. Rightfully so, the names Smith and Krzyzewski were celebrated together at last. After eclipsing Smith, there was one more legend to pass, his close friend and basketball mentor, Bob Knight, who instilled in Krzyzewski the passion to prepare and lead. In the most improbable of scenarios, the icon and his protege rewrote history. The two became the first and only coaches to claim 900 wins.
It's amazing that a coach and his point guard can be the first 2 coaches in the history of our game to win 900. And that it says something about the guy who has 902. And it also says something about the United States Military Academy, because that just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. There'll be a lot of guys who'll win 900 games eventually. But to be the first 2 and to be the coach and his player to do it is such a something very unique, and that's the type of relationship and friendship I've had with Coach Knight. And I'm glad I can share that moment with him. I've shared some really good ones with him.
And that to me, I think is a neat thing for a coach and a player to be able to have the ability to stay in coaching that long and to have that kind of a thing happen to them.
Dribbles out the final 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. 9:03 is in the books. History is made. Mike Krzyzewski now stands alone at the top of the mountain. He is the winningest coach in Division I men's basketball college history. Many of us have known for a long time that he's the best. Now the rest of the world knows it too.
Victory number 903 can now be safely added to a growing resume. With the possible exception of John Wooden, Krzyzewski's list of basketball accomplishments is unparalleled. In the end, that is not what matters to Krzyzewski. His lasting legacy will be those he's impacted on and off the basketball court as a husband, father, grandfather, coach, teacher, and leader.
He has said, I would really hate if what I did in my life was that I devoted myself to winning college basketball games. That would be so meaningless. And so he has taken it way beyond winning college basketball games.
The adopted sons he coached, more than 160 players on the rosters of both West Point and Duke, played for honor. They competed for the letters stitched across the front of their jerseys, not for what was on the back. Working together to form a fist, they played for something bigger than themselves. Most importantly, they played for the generation's best coach. Indeed, numbers do define the greatest performers' accomplishments in sports. Yet in this unfolding story, it is not a number. It's a single letter. K.
The only thing I'd like to say is that whenever I go somewhere, the whole family is proud of you and everything else. And when people ask me, who am I, or am I the coach's brother, it makes my heart really warm inside and makes me very proud that I can turn and look at him in the eye and say, yeah, he's my brother.
Little did we realize how far you'd go, the things you'd accomplish. But congratulations on all your accomplishments, and thanks for having us and allowing me to be part of it over the years.
Congratulations, Mike. I couldn't think of a more deserving coach, and there was no doubt that you were going to get 903 plus many more wins.
Congratulations.
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 Coach, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, kid.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, coach.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Congratulations, coach.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Mike, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations on being the best ever.
I want to certainly send the same sentiments so many are sending out to you, Mike. Congratulations. What an incredible achievement.
Congratulations on this titanic achievement. You are, in fact, the best of all time.
Hey, Coach. On behalf of the men and women of America's Armed Forces, we'd like to congratulate you on becoming the winningest coach in men's college basketball history. And more important, we want to thank you for your leadership and for showing us all that you can achieve greatness and do things the right way.
Congratulations to Coach K on becoming the all-time winningest coach in Division I men's basketball history. Coach, your leadership, your integrity, and your toughness have changed the game.
Wow, Michael. I can't believe this. This is something that we never imagined, and I know you feel the same way, because this is nothing we ever talked about. This was never a goal, and yet somehow it happened. And I just feel like I'm looking forward to the day when you and I sit down and look back at this, and I hope you will feel proud as I feel of you right now. It's been an amazing ride, and I just want to say thanks for taking me with you.